Pokemon Masters, Pokemon here, and I have 7 things that I noticed in the latest Pokemon Presents, the trailer for Scarlet and Violet, that I think most people won't have noticed because I'm thinking very much about the lore of the Pokemon world. Let's not waste any time. Let's just jump straight into this. So, the first thing that I have on my list is... let's talk about... Crystal Pokemon, Tera Pokemon. Crystal Pokemon are confirmed. Number 1, Crystal Onix may now have an in-lore explanation. And I want to talk about how that can be the case. These Pokemon appear as the result of, you can go to, Tera raid dens. If I find my way across, you're going to see that you've got, Tera raid dens right here, right? And these rooms are filled with crystals, and they allow the Pokemon to transform and become their new forms. The cave in which Crystal Onix is in the animated series is also filled with crystals. I'm not saying that Crystal Onix is a Tera form, but it's the closest thing to a canon explanation I think we're ever going to get at this point. Also, they can change their type, and we know that the Crystal Onix was a different type. So, first of all, you all called me crazy. He's now part of the canon. So that's number 1. I like that. But number 2 and 3, again, both to do with the crystal type here. Look at this Drifblim. This is a fire Drifblim. How do we have a fire Drifblim? How does that make any sense? Well, it makes perfect sense. Do you remember how in Generation 4, Flint had a Drifblim on his team? He didn't have many fire-type Pokemon, but he had a Drifblim. And you're like, is it because it's a hot air balloon? And yeah, I guess. But now, there's a reason Flint would be using a Drifblim, because in other regions perhaps in which he's even trained, Drifblim is a fire-type Pokemon. That is an attention to detail that I really, really appreciate, and it carries on over into number 3. Number 3 being our Pikachu that terastallizes and becomes a flying type Pikachu. And you might be like, flying, isn't that a bit random for Pikachu? Except it's not. Do you remember how in the Alola games we had a Pikachu that learned Surf, and then Alolan Raichu surfs on its tail? It's a reference to an old set of cards. There's the surfing Pikachu card, but there's also the flying Pikachu card, and that is what this is about. This is a direct reference to that now being canonized as well. So they've clearly put a lot of thought into the lore and the canon of these Crystal Tera Pokemon. I'm really excited to see this. It's cool to see this. Like with Eevee, obviously it can be multiple types as well, because Eevee is the Pokemon that evolves into multiple types of Pokemon. So it's really cool to get to see this, and I'm interested to see, when it comes to future Tera Pokemon, which ones are different forms for different reasons. Another Pokemon that got a new form in this game is Wooper. There's a new Wooper. There's the Paldean Wooper. And first of all, adorable. I love it. And the announcer mentions how it's got a poisonous film around it, and it is a ground poison type. Now, the Pokemon website directly says that this is because... The Pokemon website says that this is because in ancient times it lived underwater, so the water type that we know of, but after losing the struggle of territory, it's begun living in swamps and bogs and on land, and to keep it from drying out, it's now become this ground and poison type. But Wooper has had Pokedex entries for years, stretching back literally to its inception, that talks about how when it comes on land, it covers itself in a poisonous film. So that now lines up with this, and I guess if it lives on land for too long without going into the water, this is the form of Wooper that it transforms into, which I really, really like. Alongside Wooper, and I wonder if its predator was this, whale Pokemon, and it turns out it is a whale. It's a Tera whale. The Tera whale Pokemon, it's a narwhal, I think, which is a shame, because I thought it might be a shark initially, because sharks are made of, cartilage, as opposed to, they're not bony fish, they're made of cartilage. And that actually segues me really nicely on to today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. I know I'm not the only person who's been stuck out on a train when a new Pokemon trailer's dropped, or out traveling, and I don't quite have the data or connection I'd like, and public Wi-Fi could be the way to go, but is it safe? Surfshark, which is available using the link in the description, is the answer, helping you surf the web with the protection of a VPN, which routes your connection through another server anywhere else in the world. But let's be real, the main reason I've been using Surfshark for several years now is because of the ability to route my connection through another region of the world and watch region-locked content. Now, perhaps you're from the Galar region like me, but you'd love to watch some videos that are usually only available in the Paldea region. Well, by signing up, you're getting access to a slew of new Pokemon content that otherwise you wouldn't be able to access while keeping your online activity private. As always, I'm using this as the main way to keep up to date with Pokemon journeys. It's been highly convenient for me. And as always, if you sign up today using my link, it not only hugely helps out my channel, but you'll be getting 83% off and 3 months for free, which makes it the best value for money VPN I'm aware of. And on top of all of that, if you're not totally satisfied, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to click the link and try it out. You can never be too safe online, so what are you waiting for? Click that link at the top of the description, and thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. And let's break down this trailer. Back to it. Did anyone else see this character, Jack? What do you notice? Doesn't that look an awful lot like Adaman from Pokemon Legends Arceus? Let's look again. That's Adaman. It's Adaman. He's got the shape of his glasses are the same shape as part of Adaman's outfit. If you look out on Adaman's outfit at the bottom of the outfit, you've got those hexagon shapes, and they're right there on the glasses, which means that Adaman and Iridia, the Pearl Clan leader, their ancestors are in these games and not pre-existing characters, which makes sense as to why we were all so confused about them. Similarly, there is another character in this trailer who appears very briefly. This guy here. I'm relatively confident that that's Drayden. Doesn't that look like, not maybe like a Drayden's cousin or something? Doesn't that look an awful lot like, oh dear. Doesn't that look an awful lot like Drayden? Is that just me? I don't know. That's number 6 on my list. Finally, and this is the big one, I did a video recently talking about how the Crown Tundra had sort of predicted Pokemon Scarlet and Violet time and time again. There were so many things in the Crown Tundra, from Calyrex having rideable legendary steeds, which is kind of what we're seeing here, to Regieleki and Regidrago kind of being reflective of Koraidon and Miraidon, right? It's an open world third-person camera, just traveling in the open world, and that's kind of, again, what we're seeing here with Scarlet and Violet. There's actually another thing that ties into that should have been in that video, really, which is in this trailer, we learn that there are 3 main objectives, right? There are 3 main objectives that you can kind of take part in and decide your story. There's your classic gym challenge, but then there's 2 other types of challenges or parts of the story that you can do and interweave them in any order. And this is exactly the same as in the Crown Tundra. If you remember, when you start the Crown Tundra, you're given 3 lots of legendary quests that are all the story of the Crown Tundra. There's the main story with Calyrex and Spectre and Glastrier, but then there are side stories. There's the Regis, and then there's the Swords of Justice, and you can approach these in any order you like to complete the Crown Tundra. The Crown Tundra is basically one big demo for Scarlet and Violet to see if people would like Scarlet and Violet, and I can't believe I hadn't noticed that before. So those are the 7 things that I have noticed that I don't think a lot of other people are going to talk about. There are other things, of course, that I want to talk about that I will talk about in upcoming videos, but for now, I'm excited. I'm feeling really, really buzzed for Pokemon with Scarlet and Violet. And if there's anything that you think I've missed or you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I will see you in a future video very, very soon. So hi, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
As always, a massive thank you to those of you who support this channel on Patreon. You make this channel possible, and a special thank you to the big patrons of this month, the Elgator, Jedruben, and Michael Hornschuch.